Hey, a bunch of you have been asking me about this helmet mount, this helmet setup, kind of a POV shot, but more specifically the microphone and how I am getting such good audio, even though I'm bombing down the street on like a skateboard or a bicycle at high speeds. We're talking about kind of the two setups that I do for helmet mount. One's like a really simple setup and one's a little bit more complicated, not too bad, but you can make the choice of what works best for you. Let's talk about that today. Oh, today's video is sponsored by Cuts. Thank you, Cuts, for sponsoring today's video. We'll talk about them more in a bit. Okay, let's break down this helmet rig. Like I said, I've got two different setups that I use. One's really simple, one's a little bit more complex, but even though it's a little more complex, I think it's worth it, but you just kind of choose whatever works best for you. So from the videos that I've been doing, the two questions that pop up the most about this whole rig is, one, why a chin mount over a chest mount, especially when I'm on an electric bike or something like that? Why do I still prefer a chin mount? And then number two, why do I go for a clamp-on mount version over more of like a permanently attached mount? We'll tackle these questions before we actually get to the rig itself. So the first one is, why chin mount over chest mount? A lot of mountain bikers or bikers in general will use a chest mount. Something like this. This is the GoPro's really old version because I haven't bought the new version because again, I only use chin mount. But the idea here is that it gets the camera like really low in a really cool position. But you can see from this video right here where I have both a chin mount and a chest mount on. And while you can see that the angle of the chest mount is arguably better than the chin mount, because it's a bit lower, you get kind of more of a feel of the bike. You really feel the speed. Anytime you can get the GoPro lower to the ground, you're gonna kind of see more speed. The higher it is, the slower it looks, the lower it is, the faster the clip looks. But the main reason that I still would choose a chin mount over the chest mount is that on a chest mount, it only looks forward, but on a chin mount, wherever I look, the GoPro looks. It's also why I like the bite mount so much. I like POV shots in general. I think POV shots is a really cool way to kind of bring the viewer along on your experience. So if you're mountain biking along and maybe a deer jumps out and you look at the deer, you get the shot. Number two is, why clip-on versus a permanently attached mount like I used to use on my motorcycle helmet when I still owned a motorcycle. I don't anymore, but on my motorcycle helmet, I had this guy. This is like a permanently attached, just one of GoPro's adhesive mounts. And while on this helmet, there was space right there for this mount, most helmets don't have that. This mountain biking helmet for sure doesn't have it. See, we've got kind of like vents on the whole thing. Like there would be nowhere to stick a GoPro mount that would keep the GoPro in the middle. That's kind of one of my big pet peeves, is when people mount a GoPro like on the side of their helmet. I still have a mount right on the side of my helmet from way back in the day when I would do this, and I would mount the GoPro right here, and in hindsight, I hate that angle. I hate the framing of the shot. And I've also seen where a helmet might not have space to mount a sticky mount in front, but someone will put a sticky mount on the side and then run like extension bars. So the camera is still out front, but permanently mounted. There's a reason why that's not a good idea either. And it's that if you have the GoPro on a permanently attached mount like this, anytime you need to either change settings or maybe change batteries, it's really difficult. You're kind of flipping it down and you're doing it blind, or you're taking off your helmet completely just to be able to access basic functions on the GoPro. Whereas with this guy, with a clip-on mount like this, I can quickly clip it on like that. Boom, my GoPro is in place. If I need to change the battery, I need to change settings, I need to maybe review footage, something like that, I can just grab it, pop it off. I can look at my GoPro, I can do whatever I need, I can change the battery, I can swap settings. Whatever I need to do is really simple while keeping my helmet on. And if you're looking for a good clip-on mount, this is the Dango Gripper, I think it's called. It's like 50 bucks on Amazon. This is a great mount. I have never had this thing even come off. People go bombing these things like motocross and doing flips and stuff like that, and they just have this clip-on mount, but it's so strong that it doesn't go anywhere. So that is why I go chin mount. That is why I go for clamp-on mount over a permanently attached mount. But let's let's break down kind of the two setups that I do for the GoPro chin mount POV shot while getting really good audio. And the first setup is almost as easy as what you're looking at right here. I do a GoPro Hero 10 because of that super view. It really gets that kind of top to bottom view of really wide angle look. I like super view on this guy, and put it in the media mod, and I get a 3.5mm audio port right on the back of the GoPro, and I can run a lav mic into my helmet, into the GoPro, and I'm ready to go. Now for the lav mic, I use the Rode Lav 2, and how am I gonna show this to you? See that little fuzzy bit right up in there? I have mounted a lav inside the chin of the helmet. Now, key to this is the vents on the front. If your helmet has vents on the front, first thing you do from the inside, tape over them. Make sure that no wind is able to go through these vents, because your lav is gonna be right on the back side of those vents. You don't want a bunch of wind blasting through there. And then from there, I just have the cable come out the side. It comes all the way around the side of the helmet. I just gaff tape that all the way down. I did a little loopy bit here, and then it comes straight down. Now on this first setup where I'm gonna go straight back into the GoPro, I usually just kind of keep running all the way around the helmet. This kind of takes out all the slack for the lav, and I gaff tape all along this side as well. Comes all the way back around, and then boom, I can plug into the lav, and you see the cable of the lav, it's all tucked away and hidden with gaff tape, and there's just enough slack for this to plug in. It's a really simple, really easy setup. Again though, this is the simple setup. There is a slightly more complex version, which is, it's what I use mostly. And that's because in this first setup, I am relying on the GoPro to pick up my audio. So anything happens to the GoPro, I lose video, but I also lose audio. Now you guys know that I run around with a 1X2. Where'd that guy go? Pretty much anytime I'm doing an action sport, I'm gonna have a GoPro on my chin, getting a super view angle, and then a 1X2 somewhere else. So I have two video sources, and then my audio is very attached to that GoPro. So if the GoPro dies, or maybe it overheats, my audio cuts out also, and I don't want that. So for the second setup that I do, and this is, again, it's the one that I pretty much always do now, is I run a Zoom F2 BT field recorder. Now this is just a little field recorder pack. I usually clip it on the back of my shirt, kind of like right on the back of my neck, or if I'm wearing a hoodie, I can hide it in front like this. So I'm still running the GoPro Hero 10 out front. I still keep the media mod on there, maybe in case the battery on this died and I needed to just plug back into the Hero. But this has a little sneaky feature called 32-bit float audio. And in action sports, float audio is amazing. If you guys want a whole video on this little recorder, I can make that for you. But essentially when I plug into this recorder and I am recording, the audio cannot peak. That's one of the kind of big things that happens while doing action sports, especially, is you get peaky audio. The audio levels just get too loud. Maybe you're riding along and you're like, woo, and you freak out and you yell something, or maybe you're talking really quietly. If I was picking that up through the GoPro, I would either peak that audio or you wouldn't be able to hear that audio. But with 32-bit float audio, it's kind of like a magic trick of audio. And then, like I said, I just clip it on the back of my shirt usually. Boom, like that. So it's clipped right back there. Nobody can see it, but I know that I can pick up, I think it's like 8 to 10 hours of recording on one battery. So I know that no matter how many GoPro batteries I go through, I could pretty much hit record on that thing all day long. I'm gonna have great audio. So even if this dies, I have this video that I can cut to, and I am still recording audio even though the GoPro is dead. And that is my second kind of way that I pick up audio, with a chin mount, with a helmet mount now. That is the more complex version, but significantly better version. I'll put links to everything that we talked about today down in the description, but also a massive thank you to the sponsor of today's video, and that's Cuts Clothing. Cuts Clothing is, one, a sponsor of this channel and just huge supporter of this channel in general, but two, maker of just super dope shirts. This shirt in particular is the one that I tell everyone, if you're like thinking about cuts or you've looked at cuts, buy this shirt. This is a Henley short sleeve, curved hem. And I would say this is probably the most versatile shirt that I've ever owned. You could just wear it because it's super comfortable and it's like a t-shirt. But if I take this shirt and like put it with some nice slacks and some nice shoes, do my hair up, all of a sudden I'm going on date night wearing a t-shirt and my wife thinks I look great. And that's kind of the key. As long as she thinks I look good and I can get away with wearing a t-shirt and being super comfortable, yeah. If you want to also be super comfortable, but be able to go out on date nights, pick yourself up one of these short sleeve Henley black, because I just think black looks awesome. First link in the description below, go check them out. And lastly, I opened up channel membership. So you can, there's a join button down below now. Click that, you can go over, you can become a channel member. There's some really cool things planned in about, I think it's about a week. In about a week, something cool is gonna happen for members only. You should become a member. And also subscribe. If you haven't already, this is the first time here, subscribe, ring the bell, do all that stuff. Like the video. If this helped you, like the video. Other than that, I'll see you guys soon. Maybe a full video on this recorder alone. Should we do that? You guys let me know. You wanna see a video on this thing? It is, it's maybe my new favorite thing. I'll see you soon. Something I totally forgot to mention is my one con of this mount bit here, and it's only happened to me once, but it was a bummer. So the one con of this mount is that when you have it mounted like this, see how much it sticks down? I was skateboarding one time on an experimental skateboard, or one that I just hadn't ridden before, and I fell and I went like this, and it hit my chest right here, and it left a bruise on my chest. If you're like motorcycle guy and you got like a chest plate on, you're fine, but for everyone else, definitely be warned, like that, it doesn't happen often, but it's a possibility. When you fall, it sucks, because it goes, dish, oh, right there.